Stay tuned for Retire Your Way with Dale Soutas, a leading financial retirement strategist and the founder of Soutas Financial and Insurance Solutions, right here in Fresno. Every week, Dale discusses pressing financial topics of the week, ranging from reliable income strategies to our financial markets, including Social Security, tax strategies, wealth management, RMDs, legacy planning, long-term care solutions, and most importantly, how to make sure you have enough guaranteed lifetime income to retire your way with choice and dignity. From taxes to trends to total transparency, Dale covers it all. And now, here is Retire Your Way and Dale Soutas. This is Retire Your Way with Dale Soutas, your financial advisor right here in California. So many different topics in the news today. The tax discussions, we'll get to that later in today's program. Is your business your retirement plan? What happens if something happens to you? We'll get to that somewhere midway in the show. But some of the tools that you're using to get you to retirement, are they still appropriate for you? Should you keep using them? We're going to have that conversation right up front. But, Oh, come on. Get him over the microphone, Mr. Dale Soutas. How you doing this week, Dale?
Alrighty. We are doing great. How are you, Spike?
Good. Busy.
We're having fun.
Having fun.
Keeping busy, almost out of trouble. Staying out of trouble.
I don't know.
How's that?
Close to out of trouble. As best we can. As best as we possibly can. Hey, I know you just did a live event. What happens through kind of the travel season here in the middle of the year? Do you continue to do live events?
Yeah, our schedule doesn't change. It's every other month currently at Fresno State. Good. So our website shows our upcoming events.
Soutas.com.
It lasts about an hour. Yeah, Soutas.com. And it lasts about an hour. And we have fun. We cover the topics that are, hot on people's minds about their retirement. So
taxes, definitely one of them. But an interesting conversation that you and I have been having is kind of the tools that get us to our retirement. And you wonder, if you think of how much cell phones, even the fact that it's called a cell phone, though the introduction to that into our lives 30, 35 years ago, going from beepers to our cell phones, if you remember that.
I don't think I ever had a beeper.
You never had a beeper? Did you ever have a bag phone? Did you ever have one of those that plugged into?
No, I remember my dad did, and it was always interesting. Ooh, that's interesting. And big old heavy thing they put in the car. And
yeah, it was like $64 a minute to make a phone call or something.
Probably.
It was very expensive. But just thinking how technology changes and all kinds of tools change, whether the televisions or automobiles, even healthcare improvements. But does the retirement tools we're using change as well? I will start this by saying, just if you think of our 401k alone, vastly invested into things like mutual funds in the very, very beginning. Now, a lot of plans are starting to see the light using things like exchange-traded funds, lower cost funds that can accomplish the same objectives, even target date funds. Not a big fan myself personally, but those tools change. So over 30 years of retirement, do we keep using the same things? You said that you wanted to open up a bag of something because so many people are asking you about this, and I get it. These are some tools that are often pitched to save for your retirement. Use them for your retirement. They're just not
or
for
to
the one
protect,
way.
yeah.
Right, not
to protect
your family,
yeah.
right? What are the tools we're talking about, Dale?
I couldn't think of a smart aleck remark, but anyway, a lot of people
save the
ask
funny
us,
for me. I've got the fast brain by now. You can't do this all the time.
Quiet, numbskulls. I'm broadcasting.
Yeah.
You got to leave it to the professionals.
Okay. But anyway, a lot of times we get people coming in and we're reviewing the various things they have in their portfolios. And a lot of times they're asking about this life insurance contract they have or contracts that they started many years ago. And they're thinking, well, should I keep them? Should I drop them? Take the cash and run? What? So we're talking about life insurance. Mm-hmm. And that has changed drastically over the years. There's a lot of, newer varieties and things like that. And a lot of times people bring it up because, it's really not doing much. My money's not growing in it. And, these older contracts, they were built many years ago and under, the costs and other things that were, decades ago, not centuries. So they're thinking, well, it's not really performing that good. Maybe I just take the cash out and, different things like that. Or maybe, we got it because we needed, to cover the mortgage, or we needed it in case I died to protect the kids and the spouse, and they can keep going. And, that may have changed. But, originally, way back, I mean, like in the 80s, I know when I was first introduced to, helping people with life insurance, interest rates were in the teens. And it was like, oh, wow, these illustrated really good, right? So you'd show people this life insurance you could throw money in, especially like a old universal life, and it was paying teens of interest, and it would grow, tax deferred, actually tax free if you knew how to take money out down the road. It could come out tax free, but the interest rates dropped dramatically, which made those same policies underperform. And people are wondering, should I keep them, drop them? Which I do.
Yes, I'm going to put a pin in that really quick and let you take a breath for a second here, because when we're talking about insurance, and oftentimes how they are pitched or suggested in protecting your family during your working years, you want to make sure in case something happens to you, there's a big enough pot of money there that could take care of the spouse, kids, family, whoever it is, and get them through college years, all that kind of stuff. But there's different kinds of policies. So I want to be clear about which ones we're talking about. So term life is usually the least expensive, but it goes away at the end of the term. So you might get them from 10 or 20 years. What kinds of policies right now, Dale, would you like to say that you want to make sure that people are reviewing for their retirement? Which specific ones might there be a way that we could either change or move them around? Which couple of policies are you talking about?
I'm talking about the whole life and universal life of old. A lot of them are really still great policies, but it's interesting when I start showing people they can upgrade them, provided they can qualify to upgrade them. They can improve the benefits, keep the cost the same or no cost. There's a lot of things that they can do.
So we can improve possibly on a policy that we had from 10, 15, or 20 years ago.
Correct.
Okay. And how do we go about that? And what would be some of the reasons why? Because let me start out right here. We did share some show notes, which I totally love to ignore out the entire program. But you did say something. We got a few different notes here that I want to take a look at here. When you were saying that the policy rates could have been much, much higher a long time ago, back in the 80s, back all the way to the teens.
Right. The growth potential could have been a lot better back then, but interest rates dropped. And so now instead of doing what you were shown, I got this old illustration you gave me, and it's not even done close to that. Well, of course not. Interest rates dropped, and, so did the potential inside that type of contract. But also, some of the costs for the newer contracts are lower because people are living longer. But bottom line, what you bought the whole life and universal life policies in the past, possibly those goals have changed. In other words, maybe you bought a big death benefit so that you pay off the mortgage and pay off any debt and have money for the spouse to continue raising the kids. And now the kids are raised and you don't have any debt. So you're wondering, well, why do I need to keep this life insurance? I don't need it. I don't want to keep paying for it. So it depends. There's a number of things to look at, but a lot of them still have cash built up in the policies. And a lot of times people can move that into a new contract where because people are living longer, the actual cost of life insurance has gone down dramatically over the past several decades. So you can, get better pricing, so to speak, inside the contract, so that maybe you keep paying the same, or maybe you pay very little, or you have enough cash in the policy, you transfer it to a new contract, and you don't pay a dime any further, and the contract continues to go and grow and be providing maybe additional benefits the older contracts didn't offer even back then.
Okay, so let me review for our listeners here. You get this a lot. As a holistic and fiduciary financial advisor, some people will come to you and say, I've got this universal life or whole life policy. I had it during my working years. The kids are out. They've got their own homes, their own jobs. And I've got this thing, and I don't know if I need to keep it. I feel like let's start maximizing your retirement tools. Here's a few different reasons why it's great to review these tools, but make sure that you're doing it with somebody who is independent of the tool and the company itself, someone who also has to work in a fiduciary capacity, someone like Dale, if you like. They could be underperforming compared to what they were supposed to do 10, 15, 20 years ago. There could be a lot more internal costs, especially from something older. I would say, think of the cost of the fuel of a vehicle from 20, 25, 30 years ago. They weren't nearly as efficient. So for those couple of reasons alone right there, it might be great to do a review on any of your tools. So don't necessarily throw them away. Don't necessarily cash out and go, all right, I'm going to get X amount of tens of thousands of dollars and I'm going to pivot on my own. You could be heading mentally in the right direction, but before you do that, let's help you review the tool. We're going to continue to talk about how can you use possibly older tools that you're thinking, I don't know, they're dragging, they're not really doing that great for you, or you're just not sure. And then how could you possibly transfer out of these tools efficiently without a high cost of money? Trade them in like trading in your car. We're going to continue to talk about that when we get back after this. But you can call the phone number right now and schedule an appointment so you can start doing a review on these tools. 833-856-1382. 833-856-1382. Dale, for you, one more time.
Quiet, numbskulls, I'm broadcasting.
833-856-1382. Call that phone number. Call it right now. Schedule your appointment. More with Dale Soutas when we get back right after this.
Are you worried about taxes eating into your retirement savings? By engaging in savvy tax planning, you might be able to create greater tax efficiency in your retirement plan. At Soutas Financial, our team of retirement planning specialists can help you explore tax-deferred and tax-free investment options, as well as strategies to help potentially minimize your tax burden in retirement. Don't let taxes derail your retirement plans. Let us help you create a tax-efficient financial plan and work towards maximizing your savings and minimizing your taxes. Call Dale Soutas of Retire Your Way and the team at Soutas Financial today to learn more about our tax planning solutions. Call 833-856-1382. That's 833-856-1382.
In your retirement spending plan, which accounts do you take from first to pay your monthly expenses? Your 401ks, 403bs, or 457s, or your IRAs, or your Roth accounts, investment, or savings accounts? Do you turn on your Social Security right away or delay? Do you use the growth from your mutual funds, ETFs, or bond funds first? Did you sell your business to create income, or do you have life insurance or annuity options? Or what about using HSAs for medical costs? Are you unclear if you have a retirement income strategy at all? You have accumulated assets for retirement for years. Now you need an efficient strategy to make certain these assets work together and last as long as you need them to. Call Dale Soutas of Retire Your Way and Soutas Financial for your own complimentary written income plan right away. 833-856-1382. That's 833-856-1382. Or you can write Dale at dale@soutas.com, SOUTAS.com.
To get your complimentary Retire Your Way review, call Dale Soutas of Soutas Financial at 833-856-1382. That's 833-856-1382.
Welcome back to Retire Your Way with financial advisor Dale Soutas of Soutas Financial. We had said at the beginning of the hour, go to our website. I just said soutas.com. It's not SEW, it's SOU, Soutas.com, SOUTAS.com. You'll see Dale right there pretty soon. Man, you and I got to do some videos together, my friend. We gotta update some of the stuff. Put that up on your website there.
Well, I can understand me being on it, but I don't want to scare people with you on a video.
Oh, come on. Yeah, I gotta lead you through it, man.
Did I say it backwards?
Gotta help you through this, Dale.
Yes.
And but also all of the live events. So if you'd like to come to one of the live events, if you'd like to talk to Dale, ask him your question. Tell him your jokes, help him with his joke writing, please come to one of the live events. Go to Soutas.com, SOUTAS.com, SOUTAS.com. We're talking about the fact that you hear this a lot as a financial advisor, that folks will come to you with their insurance policies that they've had for 15 or 20 years, thinking about, I don't know, just trading them in, getting the cash value. They don't have the big family anymore.
Yeah.
Is this really like a changing of the retirement goals, or is this kind of the change of our families over time? And so this tool was appropriate for a while, but now we've got this thing and we don't know what to do with it.
Well, yeah, I mean, there's new and improved versions, but again, you think about it, when people originally bought them, why did they buy those policies, the whole life, universal life, that build up cash? And it could be because eventually, like properly structured whole life policies will get to a point where you don't have to make any payments into them, and the policy will keep itself going for your whole life. That's why they call it whole life, right? The universal life is a concept where you actually putting more money into the pot that grows based on interest or a variety of methods. You could have it on the stock market, a variable universal life, which I'm not a big fan of, but you can have a fixed or fixed indexed, what they call IULs, indexed universal life. But those are available more so in the recent decades versus you going way back. People just had a fixed universal life, and it was based on whatever the interest rates would grow. But again, why did you start those? Well, maybe for some protection, maybe so that you had it to continue as long as you live, and the money would keep the policies going. Sometimes those interest rates have dropped to the point where they're not going to keep going. Some people are still making the payments on policies that have plenty of cash value in them, and they don't need to continue making payments into them. So there's a lot of reasons to have an extra set of eyes looking at those old life insurance policies. And I don't mind doing that. I love helping people see, is it really something you should keep? Is it something you could trade in? Kind of like, we have these older vehicles, and maybe you see, I'd like to get this, nicer vehicle, and I could trade it in, and it's more, gas efficient, whatever you want to call it, economical, or maybe it's a hybrid, and I can
exactly,
run,
going to the electric, or maybe it's totally plug-in. And that's what we're talking about, is that you don't know what you don't know, and it's not necessarily that what you have, meaning insurance and helping you invest in your own future and your own retirement, is a bad thing, but maybe the one you're using isn't as efficient as what could be available right now. There's a whole bunch of different things. There are bonuses that can be available on certain things like annuities. There are 1035 exchanges. We're going to get to all of that stuff later, but it's just the concept to be open-minded that maybe you've got a tool that's 20 or 25 years old, an insurance tool. When was the last time somebody reviewed it? And by the way, why don't you have somebody independent review it, who is not part of that insurance company, who is not motivated to sell a pile of them so they get to go on the free fishing trip from that organization or whatever it might be. Somebody who's absolutely independent and go, all right, well, this is good. As a fiduciary, if those are some of the best rates, if it's still working for what your goal in life is, Dale has to tell you that. Right? It's not about what Dale wants. It's not what the insurance company wants. It's about what you want. That's the kind of tailored advice that Dale gives. So maybe the family has changed. Maybe your legacy or liquidity needs have evolved, right, Dale?
Well, yeah, and it's basically, where are you at now? What are you about? What's your priorities? What's your goals? The more I know about you, the better I can help you see if your tools are working really for what you want them to do, how to keep things. I look at it, if I'm you, as I get to know you, if I am you, knowing what I know, what would I do? Would I keep it the same? Would I see about upgrading? Would I drop it altogether? I mean, again, there's a lot of reasons people initially bought these older life insurance contracts, but what do you need them to do for you now? And if there's still some cash value, I mean, you don't wait till your car is, a junker and has to be towed to the junkyard.
Unless you were giving it to the teenagers or something. You're like, here, take it, and we'll drive it till the bumpers fall off. Yeah,
but my point is, while it still has some value, that's when you trade it in or sell it outright and use that to offset the newer model. Sometimes you might sell something and it offsets the newer model, right? Depending on what you have. But a lot of times, and I have some right now I'm looking at where they purchased some contracts even, a dozen years ago, and because the newer contracts have better growth capacity than what we had available back then, we're looking at just a trade, basically transfer what's called a 1035 tax-free exchange, the money in that existing policy over to the new contract. You're not going to have to put a penny more into it, and it has better features, better growth, things like that. So it's not always about how to make you pay more. It's sometimes, and sometimes it's just a matter of here's a better option, and you can make a trade, an upgrade, and improve the whole policy.
Right. And clearly, the 1035 exchange is not a phrase that you came up with. This is,
No.
I'd say, in the taxation world, and that this exchange is allowed on purpose for certain kinds of likewise contracts because there are improvements, or your life and your style and your family needs change. So there's the possibility of doing this, and we can do a review. There were a couple other things I wanted to get to as well. Positive reasons to take a look at your life insurance tools to see if they're still working. Now, I would probably say, I think you and I are in agreement, term policy, we're not really talking about that. That's something you pay for.
No.
It's usually lower cost. When it's done, it's done. So any of the other ones, if you're still wondering if they work for you, if you still need them, you can do a complimentary review. We'll do it at absolutely no cost. We'll take a look at them. 833-856-1382. That's 833-856-1382. People are standing by. They'll schedule an appointment so you can talk with Dale himself. You've also said that there might be kind of better options available. Add-ons?
Correct.
What kind of add-ons? Are we talking about this is the Corinthian leather seats on the inside of the car and the sunroof package? What are some of the things?
Convertible, yeah. Heated seats.
Oh,
Let's
the
see,
heated
what can we
seats
add?
and steering wheel. You
Heated
need that now.
seats, yeah. So, I mean, basically, some of the newer contracts available have what we call living benefits, because many times people in the past, they think of life insurance and bought it because this is just going to go to whoever I leave behind, right? Spouse, kids, and whoever. And so it's like, it's not going to do me any good. And so again, another reason, why am I paying for this still? But some of the contracts I like showing people, if it makes sense, if it's needed, have living benefits. In other words, you have a $500,000 death benefit, let's say. And now you can use a good portion of that for things like a terminal illness. It's life insurance on you, and you could take up to 75% of typically the death benefit tax-free and use it however you want if you're deemed terminally ill. And different companies have different criteria, from 12 to 24 months of a doctor saying you're terminal. The other benefit of some is that you have chronic illness riders, which mean if you need assistance, in other words, you have that $500,000 or $100,000 or whatever the death benefit is, up to certain limits, you can use one has up to 25% of that death benefit per year that you could use tax-free to pay for in-home care, assisted living. Basically, I'd have you use it to keep yourself out of a nursing home. So instead of long-term care insurance, it's a chronic illness rider, and it works, similar to what a long-term care policy might do. It has a limit, like I said, of 24 to 25% of the death benefit per year. So it would last about 4 years, and which is fine.
Which can be a long period of time. I mean, that's a good chunk of savings. And one of my grandparents was in a facility for about 6 years, but 4 years, it's well above the national average. So, it can protect a large chunk of your life savings. Dale, we got to take a very short break. A couple of more of our recaps on why you want to take a review on anything like your index universal life, whole life policies. Are they going to work for you for your retirement plan? But some really positive reasons to take a look at it. And one of the positive reasons is it costs you nothing to do that review with Dale. If you call the phone number, 833-856-1382, schedule an appointment, bring in all of your policies. We'll do a review for you. As an independent fiduciary financial advisor, Dale has to tell you what's in your best interest. So we'll talk to you about your goals and then review the tools and make sure they're still working for you. 833-856-1382. More with Dale Soutas right after this break.
Do you know how you'll generate income from your investments along with your Social Security in retirement? In our opinion, it's never too early to start the income planning process for your future. An income plan can help you work towards creating a steady stream of income to support you throughout your retirement years. Don't leave your financial future to chance. Take control today and start income planning for your retirement. Call the team at Soutas Financial so we can help you design a complimentary written income plan to help you live the retirement you've always wanted. Call 833-856-1382. That's 833-856-1382.
Is your largest retirement savings account one that you haven't paid taxes on? Like millions of Americans, you've saved into a retirement account that deferred paying taxes until you take that money out years from now. One method to save on future taxes is called a Roth conversion, and you could do that right now to save yourself from higher taxes in the future. Currently living during the lowest tax rates of likely your lifetime, wouldn't it make sense to pay those taxes now instead of in the future when tax rates could be much higher? Call 833-856-1382 to talk with Dale Soutas and the team at Soutas Financial to see if doing a Roth conversion from your 401ks or IRAs makes sense. Take the Roth Conversion Challenge from Dale Soutas and the team at Soutas Financial. It's complimentary for our radio listeners who are serious about retirement planning. Challenge yourself. Would you rather pay lower taxes now or higher taxes in the future? Call for your own complimentary Roth Conversion Challenge from Dale Soutas and Soutas Financial. 833-856-1382. That's 833-856-1382.
Retire your way with Dale Soutas of Soutas Financial. 833-856-1382. That's 833-856-1382.
This is Retire Your Way with Dale Soutas of Soutas Financial right here in California. Get started on your own retirement income review, your entire retirement plan review, reviewing all of your tools from your insurance, wills, trusts, and of course, your investment strategy, your income tools. All of that is no cost to you just for being one of our radio listeners and reaching out to Dale. 833-856-1382. Can your business run without you? And if not, what do you do about it? I just had a recent experience talking about it with a friend of mine. We're going to get to that in a second. But you know what, Dale? We said we were only going to talk about insurance for a little bit, but we didn't even really get to the good stuff. You're saying that somehow that these tools can actually help in creating some tax-free lanes of income in retirement? How so? How does that work?
Yes. In fact, that's what I've been preaching for decades, that basically what do the wealthy use? What do the ones who make too much money to drop into 401ks and IRAs and all that stuff? What do they use is properly structured life insurance. They're no dummies. They don't want Uncle Sam in their savings, their retirement. So they max fund properly structured life insurance so that down the road they can take loans out against them and take the money out tax-free. And they don't exhaust the policy entirely, or that would make what they take out of it taxable. But there's simply simple ways to set those up, and I've preached this to many for their kids, grandkids. In fact, the movie that we would gladly send you, called The Power of Zero, highlights the importance of keeping Uncle Sam out of our retirement. And especially for our kids and grandkids, we need to educate them that way. So basically, one family I've helped for many, many years. The grandmother sold her home and wanted to help her only grandchild. And so through her trust, we set up a life insurance policy on her granddaughter. And we funded it with $50,000 a year for 5 years. And the granddaughter at the time was 41. And at 65, it projected out, conservatively, about $100,000 about $120,000 a year tax-free income for life after once she turned about 65. Not bad, right? Tax-free, 120 a year. Okay,
Comfortable. I'm liking it already.
so so I preach that to ones. There's ways to do that. Again, there's the wealthy who put, you get to determine how much you put into a life insurance policy. And of course, you have to qualify health-wise, but so the earlier we get them started on that, the better. And then, so now it's been, more than a decade later, and I'm realizing that some of the newer contracts have better growth potential. So I did a comparison. That's one that when we throw out that phrase, a 1035 exchange, which I'll explain more in a second, I'm looking at if we shift from that policy on her, the granddaughter that is, to an upgrade without her having to pay a penny more into it or the family, we just tax-free, we move the money that's in the existing life insurance contract to the new contract, then it would actually grow because there's better growth features. Okay. It would grow better, and there'd be more income down the road than what we initially projected. So a 1035 exchange, what is that?
Yeah, please.
Inside a life insurance contract, you have cash values, right? Universal Life has, $200,000 of cash value, let's say. And you can upgrade to another life insurance contract, and you basically you're transferring the money from one to the other without taking it into your own hands. So you're not creating a taxable event, and you're not borrowing it out, but we're moving the entire amount without affecting taxes. And because if you close the life insurance policy with $200,000 in it, they've got to then give you a 1099 on whatever the growth came over the years on that. But if you transfer properly,
1099, oh boy, 10-4. Okay, I gotcha.
You transfer it.
Well, these are all tax rules then. Yeah. So so the 1035 is actually kind of the way the tax allow this to be exchanged. It's
a tax-free exchange. Yeah, you move that money from one to another contract, and now this contract has, let's say, better features and benefits. So great, if it makes sense. And I reviewed quite a few, and out of a couple dozen that I was reviewing recently, I found 4 that it makes sense to consider, looking at that possibility. So it's not really for everybody.
I was going to say that's even much lower than I thought. So yeah, if it's not worth rolling out, if the features aren't any better, you wouldn't want to do it. But it's taking a look at your tools, and maybe there is something. I really like what you're saying about the long-term care. So 1035 exchange.
And the income.
Dollars to donuts here, nuts and bolts. Do you help somebody through that process? How does the 1035 exchange, or you just say, hey, we've got this policy, here's a better one over here. Now you call your insurance company and figure it out, or do you help people figure it out?
Oh, I tell them about it, and then I find somebody just wandering down the street and ask them if they'll help.
Perfect, Dale. I'm gonna mute your microphone, and I'm gonna talk for the next 3 minutes about whatever I want.
We take them by the hand. We walk them through if it makes sense. If it they have to understand it first. And if it's truly going to help and improve the whole situation, we will take them by the hand through the process and help them to do it, the paperwork and all. So it's
beautiful.
It's almost painless.
Okay. So some final thoughts here on what we can do for Dale Soutas, independent financial advisor, asset management, helping you with things like your 401ks, your 403bs. Yes, getting that money
TSPs.
That you've saved, TSPs, you name it, all of that, all the alphabet soup of those investment accounts that you've turned into IRAs from your 401ks. But then there's also your tools, your insurance tools. We can do a review on those. So you do a policy review on kind of all of it. And that might even be on things like wills and trusts, all of that. So can you run then, what would it be like comparisons? Will you kind of run it side by side and show people, what is the positive, what is the negative, what are the difference on the costs?
Well, yeah, exactly. Not only on the life insurance, but the 1035 tax-free exchange can apply to old annuities too, to update and get improved versions of those. We run examples and we show how the different, the newer contracts, what other features they have now that weren't even in existence way back. So,
okay. We'll run comparisons for what you're using right now. Dale being independent. And the reason why I keep saying the word independent is if you go into a Chevy dealership and you say that I'm looking for a certain kind of car, they're going to show you Chevys or Fords or Infinities or Jeeps or Chrysler or Dodge, whoever. If you go back to one version of an insurance company, they're going to show you the product offerings that they have. That's not necessarily a bad thing. But Dale being independent can actually look at resources and look at all of the different kinds that are out there to try to help you achieve your goals.
And remember, Spike, why did I choose to be independent?
Because nobody else would have you? Oh, come on. I had to do that. You've been cracking jokes at me all day long. No, please do. Tell me.
That was good.
Thank you. Why did you go in?
Dad was a State Farm agent, and I reluctantly worked with him for 4 years. But I enjoyed learning about insurance. But again, he had me mainly doing more of the life insurance, annuities, health insurance options, for people. But when you're a State Farm, you're captive. You can only show what State Farm, kind of like the Chevy dealership example you gave. And then when I came to the Valley in '89, Central Valley of California, that is, then I became independent. And what's nice is, yes, I can shop around. I'm not limited by a certain company's products only. And even though for a time I did have the stockbroker license, which I've since drop kicked, really, because the broker dealers, when you're under them, you have to, they push you to sell their products, and they pay you more to sell their products, and so that's a conflict of, is this really best for them? But having the life insurance license, having the fiduciary financial advisor license allows me to shop around. I'm not being pushed by the one I'm under, which is
the agenda of the organization. I'll say it for you. By any sales goals or anything else. Your goal is to get people retired, be retired, stay retired, use the tools that they have, maybe show them some other ideas that they might not have. But there is that's the difference. You're not trying to sell something or pitch something. You're going to implement tools that will work for them, work with the ones that they have, look at the savings that they have. And oftentimes, you've also said this as well, it's not about having X amount of dollars, certain amount of zeros. You've helped people with a couple $100,000, turn it into the right income they need. It's well within their lifestyle. Dale likes to work with the tools that you have. But what we're saying, what we've been saying on today's program, it might be worthwhile to do a review of them, because you can do things like a 1035 exchange, possibly for a better or more efficient tool, or for what you're most concerned about, things like a long-term care need down the road or an income need. One of the ways you can find that out with no cost to you is dial on the phone number, 833-856-1382. It's not going to interrupt the program. It's going to go over to our call center, and you'll schedule an appointment so you can talk with Dale himself of Retire Your Way in Soutas Financial. 833-856-1382 is the phone number. More with Dale when we get back right after this.
Do you know how much you might be paying in fees within your retirement accounts? Just 1 or 2% in hidden fees can eat into your savings and potentially hinder your ability to achieve your retirement goals. But how do you know if you're currently paying these hidden fees, and how do you find them? Dale Soutas and the team at Soutas Financial can help you find the fees within your investments and explore solutions designed to assist with minimizing them. Take control of your retirement savings so that you can work towards keeping more of your hard-earned money. Call for your very own complimentary Retire Your Way review and fee finder report. Let us help work towards finding, exposing, and helping to eliminate those potential hidden fees for you. Call Dale Soutas and Soutas Financial today for your complimentary fee review. 833-856-1382. That's 833-856-1382.
Will I run out of money in retirement? That's a hard question to answer if you've never been retired. How do you grow your investments without taking too much risk, but also considering what you'll pay in taxes? Should you convert your tax-deferred accounts into Roth accounts for tax-free growth later? Don't forget about inflation. Instead of questions about your retirement, turn to answers and solutions from Dale Soutas and Soutas Financial. Call and ask for your own complimentary retirement solution review. 833-856-1382. That's 833-856-1382 for your complimentary retirement solution review.
To get your complimentary Retire Your Way review, call Dale Soutas of Soutas Financial at 833-856-1382. That's 833-856-1382.
Welcome back to Retire Your Way with financial advisor Dale Soutas of Soutas Financial. Hey, Dale, thank you so much for talking about whole life, universal life. Are these tools still working for you in retirement? It's okay to review them, possibly exchange them at no cost for better results for you, but we do have to talk about taxes. Got to talk a little bit about taxes.
Oh, our favorite, isn't it?
Absolutely. Everybody's favorite. Come on.
Quiet, numbskulls, I'm broadcasting.
Who's not a big fan of taxes? Well, we like tax reduction, so let's talk about what's going on, folks.
You can't see my hand up?
Yeah. The House just passed, proposed more tax legislation here. We'll just hit some of the broad points here, but it only got through the House 215 to 214 on votes. It's got to go up to the Senate. They'll probably make some changes on their own. Then it goes back to the House. Then it goes up to the Hill. It goes up to the president, which will probably go through. So far, a couple of things we did see in there that we heard on the trail. Tax deductions or no taxes on up to $25,000 in reported tips. No taxes supposedly on the overtime. These were two things that were being talked about. But a bigger thing, I think, for you and I is it seems like the tax cuts where they are will be extended very likely through the next 3 to probably 4 years. That's a good thing. Explain that for our folks. What does that mean?
Well, I still call it the Trump tax code, but back in 2017 they voted that in. So from 2018 till through now, we're at lower tax brackets. So we have the standard deductions raised, no exemptions. So basically, taxes are on sale. I mean, we've never had a time where a married couple, for instance, can make well over $400,000 gross and still be below a 25% federal tax rate. And so the benefits of that is very simple. That gives us more time to do things like Roth conversions, get Uncle Sam out of some of our tax-deferred retirement accounts like 401ks and IRAs and such. It looks like that's going to be pushed through to stay longer. And if so, then let's keep working on taking advantage of that. And again, like I call it, let's get Uncle Sam out of as much of our retirement as we possibly can, doing things like Roth conversions and such.
Well, that's a good thing. So let's explain that because, and sorry to interrupt, that having a little bit more time to do this. So we were worried that the tax cuts were going to go away. And we've been saying this for the last year. Then the election came around, different party came in that I think a lot of folks thought was going to come in. So now they're going to be able to keep their own tax cuts. And needed to be a vote on that. So that means rather than expiring, and this is the hard thing, especially I think for folks in California to realize, is that as far as national taxes, we're in about the third to fourth lowest total tax bracket in U.S. history. I know there's a lot of taxes that we pay in California. A lot. I know that. But as far as national, these are some pretty low rates. So if we want to try to get Uncle Sam out of your back pocket as much as we can, maybe not doing it all at once, that means that we don't have a deadline of just at the end of this year. We probably have at least 4 years of schedule that we can do a little bit at a time and be able to play that tax bracket game, right, Dale?
Right. So how much can you convert and keep under a certain tax bracket?
Yes, there you go.
And why is it so wise to look at that? I mean, I'm married and I'm not worried about the taxes, But if you die and it goes to your spouse, now goes from the low married tax rates to the highest, single tax rates. And we were taught backwards, save for Uncle Sam instead of for ourselves as far as retirement goes, because many people have hundreds of thousands of dollars in their retirement accounts, and every penny they take out is on top of whatever other income they have, and it's taxable. So again, with tax rates potentially staying as low as they are now, let's take advantage of that. I mean, I like to say they're on sale.
Yeah, exactly. We can extend whatever it is, the Memorial Day white sale, the 4th of July, and the Labor Day sale all the way through. We are going to combine all of them throughout not only the end of this year, but hopefully over the next 3 or 4 years. That will be great. So here's the thought. I want all of our listeners out there driving around. How much do you have saved in tax-deferred accounts? That's what I want you to think about. You know that number.
What is a tax-deferred account?
Right. Well, hey, all right.
And that might be, clarify that.
Well, I know 401k.
They might say, I don't know.
I definitely know 401k, right? But
401k, 403bs, TSPs, a lot of the traditional, retirement accounts you get through work, where you're putting money into the account, whether your employer's matching it or not. I'm reducing my income this year. I'm saving taxes today. Yeah, whoop-de-doo. You're deferring it to a later time and likely a higher tax calculation. And again, how do we? I have someone. He's got like $3 million saved in his 401k, and unfortunately, not a ton of money, otherwise liquid to just grab at. If he has something big come up, he's going to have to reach in and grab from that $3 million, and that's going to be, Uncle Sam's going to thank him more than anyone else, because it's going to be taxable. So, how do we convert that? How do we get lessen the impact in our retirement? Well, first of all, start using the Roth 401ks if your employers offer that. Ask them whether they match what you put into a Roth 401k, Roth 403b, whatever, or not. Use those. By using those, it's smart, because even if you're younger, what you put in, you could take out without penalty, without taxes. You just can't play with the earnings on your Roth until you get past 59.5 or down the road. But again, it just play it smarter, work smarter, not harder, as they say.
Here's the hard part, though, Dale, and I think we just have to recognize this for folks. I mean, everybody says, I want to pay as little taxes as possible. I want to push it out. I'm allowed to be tax deferred. Oh, I got the tax break right now. Why would I want to increase my tax? Why would I want to be in a hurry to pay taxes? Tens of thousands of dollars we might be talking about. What are the positives? What are the many list of positives of paying those taxes now? What does that money become like later for you down the road?
Exactly. The example we give when we put on our Fresno State workshops is we have a couple slides that show somebody who's only 35 years old realizes, I need to save for future. So they start tucking away $5,000 a year from age 35 all the way through, let's say, roughly 65. So if you do the math, they put $5,000 a year into some kind of 401k, retirement plan, an IRA, whatever, and their income each year was reduced by that $5,000. Do the math. From 35 to 65, that's roughly $155,000 that they saved tax on. The money has grown to be $500,000 when they retire, and at a certain age, now it's 73, they start taking a minimum out until they die. They took $400,000 or $500,000 out that they paid taxes on, and now the balance going to their spouse or kids is still $500,000-$600,000 or more, and that's taxable. So that we were taught to save tax on $155,000 to ultimately pay tax on over $1 million, and it's backwards, right? Yeah. It's better to pay the tax. When you use a Roth version account, you save the tax on, or you pay the tax on that $155,000, but you don't pay the tax on that $1 million down the road when you take it out in retirement. Which is smarter for you, and which is better for Uncle Sam. Right. It's not too hard to calculate.
Right. And again, we're not part of the IRS. We are not necessarily tax accountants. We do the tax planning strategies and have the tax conversation to try to help you keep more of your own money in retirement. And a 5 or 10, 15% here and there can make a big difference. What Dale is saying is, if you'd rather pay tax on $150 over $1 million or $2 million. It's paying the tax on $150,000 of your earnings, of your salary or whatever it is this year, or waiting for it to grow and grow and grow 5, 10, 15, 20 years from now and having to pay on $1 million or $1.5 million or $2 million. Or
$3 million or
whatever. $3 million, or whatever it has grown to for you and your spouse, however much we're putting in this tax deferred bucket. We're saying maybe pay a little bit of those taxes now, maybe pay all of it. We get some people who get it, they see the light, and they're like, I want to do as much as I can as soon as possible. But
so bottom line, Spike, it's about what is best for you and your kids. So again, I'm a big fan of educating our children. Use the Power of Zero movie. It's maybe not the most exciting movie, but it's very powerful in showing not only why we need to keep Uncle Sam out of our retirement, but how to do it. And that can be obtained free. Just let us know if you'd like a copy of that.
All righty. You can call the phone number. Thank you, Dale, for your time today, your insights. If you have a whole life policy, universal index life policy, anything like that you've used for a long time, you're not sure if it's still efficient for you. Are there better offerings, maybe even different interest rates, more efficiency, less costs? We can do a complete review for you. Make sure your income plan is working for you. And hey, let's also do a tax review. And it might sound like a lot, but this is what Dale does every single day in the offices. And you too can get started on your own retirement plan and retirement review at no cost to you. Being one of our radio listeners, all you have to do is reach out to us at 833-856-1382. Say it together with me, everybody. 833-856-1382. Dial that phone number, set up your appointment, and we'll do all of that review for you at no cost. Just get to know Dale and his team. Thanks so much for listening to Retire Your Way with Dale Soutas. We'll be back next week. As a valued radio listener of Retire Your Way, Dale and his entire team of retirement professionals invite you to schedule your very own complimentary retirement plan review session. 833-856-1382 is the number for you to call. If you don't have a retirement strategy mapped out that includes low-fee investment elections, tax minimization strategies, decumulation plans that will last as long as you need them to, then call for your very own retirement review session, complimentary for our valued radio listeners. Are you able to lower your taxes in retirement? Are you unclear about your Social Security, Medicare, investment fees and risk, or how to produce guaranteed lifetime income so your lifestyle and goals don't have to be changed with the ups and downs of the market or taxes? Call Dale Soutas with Soutas Financial and be confident you can retire your way. Schedule your own comprehensive and complimentary retirement review session. Don't just live in retirement, thrive. Call 833-856-1382. That's 833-856-1382.
Investment advisory services are offered through Foundations Investment Advisors, LLC, an SEC-registered investment advisor. The content provided is intended for informational and educational purposes only. The views, statements, and opinions expressed herein are those of the individual speakers and are not necessarily those of Foundations and its affiliates. The information contained herein does not constitute an offer to sell any securities or represent an express or implied opinion or endorsement of any specific investment opportunity, offering, or issuer. Any discussion of performance or returns is not indicative of future results. Any discussions of specific strategies are for informational purposes only and have been provided to help determine whether they may be appropriate for your specific situation. If applicable, the primary goal in converting retirement assets into a Roth IRA is to reduce the future tax liability on the distributions you take in retirement or on the distributions of your beneficiaries. Each individual investor's situation is different, and any ideas provided may not be appropriate for your particular circumstances. Comments regarding a particular client's experience may or may not be the same as another client's experience, and is not an indication that any client or prospective client will experience the same or a higher level of future success or performance. Foundations only transacts business in states where it is properly registered or is excluded or exempted from registration requirements. Registration as an investment advisor is not an endorsement of the firm by securities regulators and does not mean the advisor has achieved a specific level of skill or ability. Nothing herein constitutes a recommendation that any security, portfolio of securities, or investment strategy is suitable for any specific person. No legal or tax advice is provided. Please review your retirement, tax, and legacy planning strategies with a legal or tax professional before transacting or implementing any strategy discussed herein. Any comments regarding safe and secure investments and guaranteed income streams refer only to fixed insurance products. They do not refer in any way to investment advisory products. Rates and guarantees provided by insurance products and annuities are subject to the financial strength of the issuing company, not guaranteed by any bank or the FDIC. This is not endorsed or affiliated with the Social Security Administration, any federal Medicare program, nor any U.S. government agency. If applicable, we do not offer every plan in your area, and contacting us at the phone numbers provided herein will direct you you to a licensed insurance agent. Any information we provide is limited to those plans we do offer in your area. Please contact Medicare.gov or 1-800-MEDICARE to get information on all of your options. All rights reserved.